What is going on, Guardians? Ember here with another one for you today. I have an incredibly fun solar build for Warlock that uses a newly updated exotic, and I've been enjoying myself a lot with it. It may actually be a low-key meta pick as well.
Meta this, meta that.
Listen through, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from all of you about whether or not you actually think it could be meta, but anyway, let's go ahead down below this video, absolutely obliterate that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to stick around at the end of the video for an original meme. And without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so Wings of Sacred Dawn got an update this season in Season 22. It goes pretty hard, just like the new Warlock Trials ornaments. I can't believe they gave us a dragon helmet. It looks insane, so we're going to lean into that just a little bit today with the wings. And so we have the new updated perk Tome of Dawn. When Dawnblade is equipped, aiming weapons while you're midair suspends you there for a short time, reducing incoming flinch and granting damage resistance. Weapon hits extend this effect's duration, and weapon final blows reload your solar weapons from reserves. Provides a large benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. So the weapon final blows reload your solar weapons from reserves is what got updated this time around, and it goes pretty hard. There's a lot of very cool interactions that you can have with it. For example, we're using Xenophage in the this week in Destiny. Just before the season came out, they outlined a lot of the changes they were doing to some of these exotics, and they specifically said pairing the Wings of Sacred Dawn updated with the Xenophage is going to be a lot of fun, so we're trying that out today. Spoiler, is incredibly fun. I actually love this build. Let's check out what we have going on in some of these aspects, abilities, and fragments here. We are using the Phoenix Dive, so we're going to try and keep ourselves off of the ground as much as possible. However, the Phoenix Dive will let us get some of that healing back when we need it. So while we're up in the air, if we're taking too much heat, we can dive back down to the ground. We're going to be pairing that with Celestial Fire. It's going to pair great with some of our aspects. We're going to get into that in a minute as well. And we're running the Firebolt Grenade because its cooldown is the lowest. Base cooldown of 104. We are running Heat Rises along with Icarus Dash. We want to be dashing around up in the air so we can keep that Dragon AC 130.
AC 130 standing by.
Fantasy going. Our fragments that we're running today are Ember of Resolve, Ember of Tempering, Ember of Searing, and Ember of Mercy. So we're trying to get a bunch of fire sprites stacked all around us on the ground, giving us some restoration, just a little bit more ways we can stay alive and heal while we're on the ground briefly, right before we head right back up into the sky and rain terror down on all of those ads below us. Let's check out these mods that we have going on over here. I like using the Powerful Attraction mod on our class items specifically because when we use our Phoenix Dive to get out of sticky situations, we can gather some of that armor charge for us while we are there. It'll pick up a bunch of the orbs that we do have around us, and there will be a lot. Let's check out these artifacts that we have going on. So we are running our Solar and Strand Siphon combo, our Elemental Orbs Solar, Refreshing Pickups, and Communal Pickups. That will be all that is really relevant for this one. Let's go ahead and check out some of that gameplay. See you there. Alright, so we've got some really fun stuff going on in this build. So we want to consume our grenade pretty much right away, so we keep that Heat Rises going. And you see, if you get just a couple of kills, it's going to take you all the way to 30 seconds on Heat Rises, and you'll pretty much never have to worry about getting Heat Rises again. And you can see, using Xenophage, getting even just one kill there is going to completely refill the magazine from reserves, and it will do that while stowed. So if we're using our auto rifle here and getting kills with it, if we have a brick that we picked up for our Xenophage, it'll completely reload it just in our inventory, so we don't really have to worry about that too much. You'll also notice while we're out here floating around, the big boy right next to us has absolutely no aim and completely relies on the splash damage from his weapon. So you take almost no damage from certain bosses that kind of rely on that kind of damage to deal any kind of damage to you. You'll be able to really kind of circumvent a lot of that, I found, and it really helped me to stay alive a lot longer. And since we do have to have our Dawn Blade equipped to be able to use this exotic to its potential, it's, you know, really whenever you feel like popping your super, you absolutely can. Anytime you get a kill while you are airborne, gliding around, if you've used your melee recently, it's gonna completely refill it. It gives you almost 30%, it looks like, of your melee every single time you get a kill like that, so that's super strong and very helpful. One thing that I was thinking about while making this build, since I was just having so much fun with it in general, I feel like it could also be a fairly meta pick now because we're able to reload our solar weapons with another solar weapon kill. We're always looking for ways to circumvent reloading, and with Xenophage in particular, it takes a long time to actually reload it. So I'd be curious to see how much the DPS actually changes without having to reload this, especially if you can get into a boss phase where there are adds that also hang around the boss, since you'll be able to shoot the entire clip of Xenophage, maybe save the last round, or don't really if you're using another solar weapon, and get a kill on a red bar or something like that, just hanging out on the side. And I think, you know, it'll give you your entire magazine back, so it can be really strong depending on the synergies of the weapons that you're using for that. And I was very surprised when I first started using this build. I wasn't that sure how long I'd actually be able to hang out just floating up in the air. And since it refills your magazine on your weapons, since you're not really having to reload it all that often, it really does help you to be able to just hang out mid-air, almost, you know, wherever you feel like. You can really do some serious damage, and I mean, reloading is just not a thing. That's my favorite thing about it. You really don't have to worry about it almost at all. And as you can see in this encounter, I've been chaining this one heat rises that I popped right as the encounter started. When the ads spawned, you have your grenade back, and it's kind of just sitting there. So you don't actually have to use the same grenade that I'm using with the low cooldown. You can actually use almost any grenade that you want to, as long as you feel like you're not dying too much and having to constantly reapply your heat rises. You don't really have to worry about that too much because you're getting 10 seconds per kill on all these red bars and all that. So it makes it a lot easier to use your grenade, and that's why we're running the Ember that gives us our cure on grenade kills. It gives us a little bit more health, just one more way to stack health regen. And Guardians, that's gonna have to be all for me for now. Let's go ahead and throw that meme up on the screen. And thank you all again for stopping by, Guardians. If you did enjoy this video, do me a favor, head down and slap that like and subscribe button. I always enjoy putting out fun content for the community. And Guardians, until next time, be without form, swift as lightning.